Hey everybody, welcome to Kimmel's Irish Pub. Time for another movie review. That's right, I mixed up the camera angle. I want to see what you guys think. You know, there's us movie stars have angles or sides that we really like to be filmed on, and I'm gonna try it out. I think maybe the right side for me might be my angle. You let me know. I'd love to hear some comments. And because I'm trying out a new angle, I thought maybe I'd try out a different film that nobody's probably ever heard of, The Accident Man. I've never heard of it. I don't even know how it ended up on my list. I don't know how these things happen. These movies just fall in my lap at some point, and I decide to watch them. So, I don't know. I don't have high expectations. IMDb has not even rated this film yet. Rotten Tomatoes, the critics have nothing to say. The audience gave it an 83% fresh, so I don't know how many people constitutes the audience, but you're going to get one more vote from me, that's for sure. The movie's about a hitman. It sounds like a very familiar plot, but the hitman, who's a very good hitman and does it in an interesting fashion, I guess. And he gets some loved one pulled in, and now he has to strike revenge, in a sense. I think that's what I get from the synopsis without reading it to you. People in it, Ray Stevenson. I don't recognize the name, but I recognize the face. You probably would too. Ashley Greene from Twilight. That's probably the person we all know the most. David Paymer. I recognize his face, not the name. And Michael Jai White. That's another face I recognize. So, I don't know. I don't have high expectations for this film. But, again, we're experimenting with angles. So I'm going to take a different angle on this movie, and I'll start watching it and let you know what I think. I'll do some check-ins, so stick around. But, feedback on the angle, the filming, everything. I'd like to hear a little bit more. I'll keep doing it no matter what, so you stick around, and I'll be back in a little bit, alright? See ya. Alright, let's do a quick check-in here. The Accident Man, 50 minutes and 28 seconds. And, it's kind of like a guy's movie. It's about a hitman, as we know, and there's a little bit of humor and absurdity to the film. Like where all the assassins kind of get together. So the opening scene is funny in itself. So real quick, back up. The reason he's the Accident Man is because his hits make it look like an accident. So the first scene, he goes in and he gets a guy. He's going to kill this guy. And he puts a very expensive watch way up high, and he puts a step stool right there. So the guy's like, "Oh, nice watch," and he steps up on the stool. And as soon as he steps up on the stool, the guy grabs a noose and puts it around his neck and then hangs him like that, and then he kicks out the thing, so it looks like he hung himself. That's the Accident Man. That's the way. That's his shtick, I guess, is killing people. The funny part that I found from that is, okay, so that's interesting. I think that's a neat concept. Okay, good. But what he does then, he says, the guy's like, "Do you know who I am?" as he's hanging there, and he's like, "Yeah, you're 25K, or 25,000, whichever one he says." So he kills people for $25,000. It doesn't seem like enough to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I guess if you're in that line of work, and that's a good take, but $25,000 to possibly get caught, I don't know. I thought that was a low number. But anyway, so I laughed at that. And then, of course, he takes a selfie with the guy hanging there. Like, just give out more proof that you possibly did this. So, that ridiculousness. And then he goes to the Oasis where all the hitmen hang out, and, where he gets his hits from. Like, so he has a boss there, or somebody who gives him people he wants him to hit. And then he's introducing the different hitmen in there and the types of killing that they do. Two guys are partners together, and they'll do a hit, but they'll make it look like a robbery kind of thing. Another guy is called the Poison Pig, who poisons people, and different things like that. So he's introducing them. The funny thing I thought was the one thing they say about the Poison Pig, and I want to get the quote right because I thought it was funny. He's the kind of kid who his bath time toy was a toaster. I thought that was funny. So, it's like stuff like that. Anyway, the plot of the story is he's a hitman. He has a girlfriend. She breaks up with him to go out with another girl. But she ends up getting murdered. And she actually gets up getting murdered by those two guys that I said that set up the crime. to make it look like somebody else did it. So he went after them. Obviously, they're like, hey, this is part of the deal. We're all professional hitmen here. You can't be mad at us. But he wants to find out who ultimately did it, and get to the top and figure out why did they have a hit on her. So okay, so that's what the plot of the movie is. We're going on that, and right before I stopped it here, they're starting to do a flashback on how he got into it. How did he become a hitman? So they're showing his childhood as he was bullied. He was being bullied by a group of kids, and while he was being bullied, he sees somebody go into a house and blow it up. And he's the guy who runs the bar, the Oasis, who's like kind of the boss or the leader of all this. So anyway, this is back when he's in childhood, so he starts following this guy around and watches him kill 3 other people. So the funny thing is, okay, so this kid, maybe 16, 15 years old, is able to follow a professional hitman around for 3 different hits and watch him do this. Not only watch him, but video it. And so now he's showing up at his house to say, hey, I need your help, and he shows him this video. It's like, really? You're a professional hitman. You can't even be more discreet enough that a 15 or 16-year-old kid not only can see you do it, but film it. So it's absurd, but it's fun. I didn't go into this thinking this is going to be, an Oscar-type movie, but this is, it's kind of fun, and it's a guy's movie. So not great, but good enough to watch. So good enough to test out my new camera angle. Coming back to that again. So I'll get back into it a little bit more. If there's anything interesting, I'll stop and check in. If not, I'll see you at the credits. Alright? Stick around. Hey everybody. We're at the credits here of Accident Man. And, it's pretty much, if you wake up in the middle of the night and can't fall asleep and want to throw a movie on, this is one that you can catch. A lot of good action scenes, a lot of good fight scenes. So Scott Adkins is actually the main character in this, and didn't recognize his name or his face, but you've seen him in other films if you watch, like The Transporter, or he might have also been in The Expendables, one of The Expendables. Very good at, I think it's judo or taekwondo, martial arts. Let's just wrap it up all into that. So he's really good at martial arts, so it makes him ideal for these kinds of films. There's a lot of good fight scenes, a lot of decent fight scenes. There's one that's really bad. They're in a, I don't know, they're like, what is that place called? Well, anyway, they're in a place and he's going up against 2 guys. And those in the fight scene at that point looked pretty bad. It was, it was sped up, so it looked like it was really good, but you could really see, the mistakes, and there was, not a really good fight scene in that one, but the rest of it looks really good, and that's all it is just fighting. So he goes to avenge his ex-girlfriend's death and find out who's at the top of all of this, and he figures it out. It all comes, I'm not going to, spoiler alert, it all comes back to the guys that he's already invested in, or that are his bosses and things like that. So it's not about the plot, it's about the action. It's not about the acting, it's about the fight scenes. It's really all this movie is about. The ending was okay. I mean, you can imagine what happens at the ending. A guy fighting for revenge. Whatever. I won't ruin that for you. But, there's money at stake. He's supposed to be paid for certain hits. And the other guy who put out the hit on his girlfriend got a large sum of money. And, I think at the end, hopefully nobody's going to get mad that I spoil it. He should have somehow figured out how he can recoup all that money. But that's not in this movie, at least not in this version. So maybe there's an extended version or multiple endings to this movie. But other than that, that's all this movie was about. It was a good, again, opportunity to test out some more videography, moving the angles around. So hopefully you let me know about that. You watch this all the way through. I won't keep it any longer. 6? I'm going to give it a 6. Not terrible, but B-rated movie, good fight scenes, whatever, that's it. So if you watch it, great. If you don't, no problem. Let me know what you decide. Put it in the comments, and more importantly, let me know what you think about The Right Side of Kimmel's Irish Pub. Thanks for tuning in.